Now, at least 20 initiates have lost their lives in the Eastern Cape this initiation season. The government has now made a call for more rigid safety assessments to be done so that lives are protected. In the last 6 years, more than 250 initiates have died in the Eastern Cape alone. Cogta Minister Velenkosini Hlabisa joins me now to have a firmer discussion on this as well. Minister, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it. When one considers that you've even threatened that perhaps the practice itself should even then be put to the side for a little while until we can get clarity on how to resolve this and ensure that the loss of lives is limited, if not eradicated completely. Where do we stand right now?
Good morning, Arabile and the viewers of Newzroom Africa. Indeed, the situation in Eastern Cape, but not in the whole of the province, but in few districts, Amatole, O.R. Tambo, Chris-Hani, and Alfred Nzo districts are the areas of serious concern. We visited the area on an urgent basis to convene all stakeholders to say we cannot allow this carry on. And we had an open discussion, very frank, and we came to a conclusion that since many schools have completed their initiation season and very few are still outstanding, I'm going back in January to meet the kings of Kumkan Basem Pumakoloni so that I discuss with them as custodians of the culture that any good culture should not result to death. Some of these children are the only children the parents had. Some of them are breadwinners, and some of them would have been leaders of our country. Now we agreed we're gonna have an intensive plan to, one, eliminate all illegal schools to operate in the winter season, ensure all legal schools meet the requirements with sufficiently qualified people to practice, to operate the circumcision. And in areas that will still record deaths in the winter season, we will shut them down because we agreed there are areas for more than 21 years who have successfully conducted this culture with not even one death, and there shall be no reason to close them because this is culture that must be promoted and protected, taken from generation to generation. But there are schools, as I have indicated, we have identified the districts and we have zoomed in which schools actually resulted to these deaths. And we realized one main causal factor was dehydration. There is a false belief that for 3 weeks, the initiates must not drink water because they will not heal faster. This is a false belief which must be stopped, and we agreed that let us all go to the remaining initiates to ensure they drink water on a daily basis because this leads to dehydration, and a number of them died through the cause that they had not been drinking water for the past 3 weeks. And we will ensure, therefore, going forward, that all men, fathers, uncles, male people will take a full responsibility on a daily basis to visit the initiation schools because females who are mothers to these children by culture are not allowed to visit the initiation schools.
Minister, is it time that we brought law enforcement into this?
Yes, Arabile. There are 27 cases open as I speak with you because Arabile, for correct records, is 28 initiates that have passed on during the summer season in Eastern Cape. 27 cases have been opened and 23 have been arrested. And we will follow closely on these cases, including the others that have not yet made any arrest. And once I've submitted my report to the president, we will be making a recommendation for a commission of inquiry. It is 253 deaths since 2019 and 52 amputations. Some of these children commit suicide. Some of them die out of being burned by fire. And we want to go deeper in understanding what are causal factors for suicide, why 52 have been amputated, who was negligent in this case, and why the 253 cases are recorded over 6 years, who is responsible, and what consequence management happened. We are of the view that the Commission of Inquiry will dig deeper on this matter and actually make recommendations which can result to more arrest and more consequence management, so that we set a tone that you can't play with the lives of children, and some of them belong to born by single mothers who have no power to do anything beyond receiving a dead child and bury, and that is the end of it. And we want to take it further as the government.
Yeah, it's going to be very important to do so. And I think the reason why I also brought up law enforcement is because on site, or at least close to the site thereof, the registration into some of these schools as well, these initiation schools that are then put forward as well, all of that perhaps needs to be formalized a lot more than it has been done in the past. More stringent rules and policies, not because the culture itself is wrong in any way, but that because the loss of lives necessitates or creates the massive necessity for us to have a much more stringent societal influence on this as well. Are we getting to a point where we can sufficiently call it a crisis? It's become a national issue ultimately, even though it is restricted to even some of the areas that you spoke of as well within the Eastern Cape. But are we now at crisis levels? Are we officially able to at least say that, Minister?
It is a tragedy, Arabile, to lose 28 children out of a cultural practice. As you rightly say, and I also want to confirm, there are schools for many years who are doing it right. We want to support them, but the schools that are doing it wrongly, the illegal schools at most in winter, we will adopt a zero tolerance to illegal school, and anyone found operating illegal school, even if there is no death, automatically we will need to see those people being arrested. We will ensure going forward to winter season, because we are going to benchmark with winter season. Every parent who sends his or her child to the initiation school must sign a consent, so that we will confirm that every parent is aware that a child is in the initiation school. And every legal school will ensure that all health standards are met and sufficient people to conduct the practice are sufficiently qualified, so that we do not record any death.
Yep.
We are of the view, like in other provinces, in Limpopo, they do it with zero death, the whole province.
Yes.
We can achieve the same in Eastern Cape, and we are going to institute stringent measures.
Yeah.